everyone can see.
Yes.
So thank you very much. I begin by thanking past District Governor Marie and her team for this wonderful initiative. And I'm sorry, as we are talking, rain has just started. Few seconds before I started talking, maybe I can shift. I'm happy to be part of this wonderful family, experience sharing with your club. I don't want to call myself an expert per se. There's someone who has a local experience on the ground that can share with fellow Rotarians, so much so that it will be possible to continue exploring the ideas and reaching out to more people and getting our communities in need relieved in our own little way. So thank you, Marie, for the introduction. Like you widely said, the Rotary Club of Kumbu is located at Central Africa. We have 10 different countries making our district. And you can see from the yellow where, the part of Africa that we occupy. And I think we are among the largest districts in terms of land surface. You heard me right, like Marie said, 10 different countries. And our club is located in Cameroon, District 9150, chartered in 2009. And that is our club ID 81116. And from the traditional perspective, you see us in our attire. I always like to share with pictures. Every year, our district comes up with a different loin that reflects the values of Rotary, a traditional loin always worn in Africa. And we have used this loin mostly with our international clubs to do a lot of fundraising. And you can see on the picture also, there is an award our club won in Rotary year 2021-2022, where we won the best prize in terms of global grants management out of the 10 countries. So I thought I should share it with you. And Marie had said everything nearly about myself, from being the Rotarian of the Year in 2021 and occupying some post of responsibilities and being a PHF +3, which means equivalent to have contributed about $4,000 to the Rotary Foundation. And this is what many of us Rotarians should be having in mind. In as much as we contribute money to help our communities, we should be thinking about contributing to the foundation. And my aim and wish one day is to be a major donor, because I've learned about major donors in Rotary. And I hope one day God will give me the available resources to also be at that level. And I always want to share this idea, this story of an old mother, where I got to know Marie through my newsletter I shared through the wash rack. This is an old mother I met when I was new in Rotary in 2012, when we did a matching grant to provide water in my community. And this mother of about 8 years was so touched about the values that we gave to her community in providing potable water right at her doorsteps. She used to trek for about 3 kilometers to fetch water because she was old and had no children to help her. So when we had a matching grant by then, it wasn't global grant, a matching grant with one of our fellow sister Rotary clubs in Canada, the Owen Sound Rotary Club. We provided water to this community, and it touched the heart of this old woman who sent to see me in person after the project was completed. I drove about 30 minutes to visit her and listen to her problem. I thought she had a worry. So when we greeted and discussed, she asked me a few questions and said, Ibrahim, who are these people who have given us this water? Where do they live? And in return, what do they expect from us? How can we pay them in return? Because in Cameroon, most of the times when people have such projects in their communities, mostly it's during election periods where politicians come and promise, give donations, and then expect people to vote for them. So she was thinking in that line. And I sat for a while and told her that these people don't know us, Mom. They live far away, like the distance from here in Cameroon to the moon. They are very far away. And in return, Mom, they need nothing from us. They are expecting nothing. They have just given us this water. And they are happy to see us consume it. So I was almost in tears, and I saw her shedding tears as well. And when she stopped crying, she told me one word and said, Ibrahim, how I wished the whole world was like these people who give things to people they have never seen, to people they have never known, and probably to people they will never see in their lives, and in return, they will expect nothing. How I wish everyone was like these people. So that was the only way I could redefine a Rotarian from the old mother's perspective. And since then, as a Rotarian, this has changed my life. It always makes me happy and more happy when I donate or I am able to assist people who are really in need. And you see, when you touch the heart of somebody, how it can in turn change the life of that person and the life of that community. This mother used to trek for 3 kilometers a day to fetch about 20 liters a gallon of water, but now she had water just 10 meters away from her doorsteps. And the only way she could thank the people she has never seen and never known and probably will never see in her life was to extend her gratitude and make herself remembered as somebody who was happy, as somebody who was grateful to receive from Rotarians. So that is how I got to know a lot of people through Rotary and to appreciate the largesse of Rotarians and to always think about this, my great mom who inspired me as a Rotarian when I was just about 5 months in Rotary. So I've shared the newsletter with the WASH community, and I think that's where Marie got to know me, and many people have been touched by this story. So my objective is to make this lady be known to the world of Rotarians. She is of late, and I think she died as a happy mother thanks to the largesse of Rotary. Thank you very much. We proceed with our global grants projects. You know, like PDG Marie rightly said, I am a WASH ambassador, and this model has inspired me to do a lot of global grants in our club. I have been a main contact person of more than 15 global grants, which mostly touch on water, hygiene, and sanitation. And for the Rotarians who said maybe they are new to WASH, WASH means water, hygiene, and sanitation. We know the difference between hygiene and sanitation. Sanitation means cleaning the body, and hygiene summarily means hygiene, the body, and sanitation, the cleaning the environment. So we have had these two major aspects of global grants, especially water by gravity, and then water by borehole. So the northwest part of Cameroon and other few regions are very hilly. It's very easy to pipe water from the hills and take it down to the communities through plastic pipes and storage tanks and make it safer. But there are other areas that are very flat and do not have water from the hills. So we have developed a system with the Rotary Club of Denver Southeast in the United States in Colorado. I will be introducing you to Joshua, who has played an important role in developing these projects with us, where we drill water down the earth and then we bring it up through a pump If you look on the left, you see solar panels, and we get the water out through solar, so much so that our community will not be obliged to buy gas to steam before getting the water up or to pay electricity bills. So when we get this water, we store it in the containers you see. We could store 5,000 to 10,000 capacity a day or twice that. And then we train the community in such a way that they operate the system in the evening when the sun must have gone off and the pump is resting. They can use the water. And in the morning by 8 a.m., the water management community will switch off the taps, and then the water will collect and be ready to be used in the evening. And you can see a young boy in the primary school, one of the primary schools that captured our attention to. This was his first time ever having clean water in his school in 2022, in the 23rd century. The school had never had water, but thanks to our Rotary team, especially Joshua, whom I will want you guys to meet. You can see Joshua on the next picture with myself and another expert. And down there, you see Joshua washing his cap because he used to visit Cameroon and visit his project and speak even some of the local languages in Cameroon, and has been to Cameroon since 2004. So we will be happy if some of you from your club will also one day visit Cameroon. By this, I am extending a general invitation, an open invitation to all of you from your club and other friends to come to Africa to visit us. We go to the field, you see for yourself what we have been doing with our own little ways, and I'm sure this will recharge your Rotary batteries. This is another project with a little girl with teaching wash during the COVID pandemic. In that community, we realized teaching them with buckets was not enough, and now we had to use kettles because of their culture and religion. And it was really applauded and accepted in that community, and that is what Rotary stands for, respecting the values, traditions of each other. And on the left, you can see a newly constructed toilet in one community, a community that was displaced by the crisis. Reverend Father just mentioned crisis in one part of Cameroon, the English-speaking area. So we established this community school. It is run by Goodwill ambassadors. Our Rotary Club is at the forefront. We touch base with the Rotary Club of Guelph in Canada. They supported with the toilet and other didactic materials. We have trained about 5 teachers, and a Goodwill ambassador has donated his home that is being used as classrooms, without which these children, about 169 kids, would have been able to go to school. And we follow up. We have provided toilets, training materials for the schools, and we are following up with the teachers, so much so that they should be at a certain level of pedagogy to be able to, teach these children. We see our club president, the past president, Jen, also teaching WASH in the communities. And on the right, you can see a health project where we are providing solar-powered refrigerators to rural communities, rural hospitals that cannot have electricity and cannot afford fuel to on their refrigerators and store vaccines. Sometimes the government subsidize and give vaccines and drugs to rural communities, but the hospitals or the health centers, they lack the storage capacities and to store these vaccines and drugs, and at one point they become useless. So we came up with this idea that we could adapt solar energy, solar refrigerators that can be helpful to store the vaccines in many health centers in Cameroon. And the generators, the solar system was also able to provide lighting to the hospitals and also facilitate charging of telephones. So at the end of the day, we train the community in that health center, especially the nurses, on how to manage the system and charge little more from the bills, from the patients, outpatients, in order they will be able to maintain this system and be able to use it sustainably, even if we are not there. And the first project we did locally in our club, it was when we went to a health center and we saw a surgeon, a doctor operating a lady in that health center without electricity. And they were using a flashlight. So the first project we did was to try to get lighting in that health center, and it grew up and generated to a large capacity energy supply and storage facilities. And I think it is helping a lot of people in our rural communities. Here we have education. We provide didactic materials, like I said, sporting materials. We do teachers training, capacity building for teachers in rural schools, where trained teachers are avoiding. Trained teachers are normally preferring to go to cities and urban areas to teach, forgetting the rural communities. So our focus is mostly this community I told you. For example, you see on the left, that is somebody's house that was donated to host the children. And we are able to provide the little material, the toilets, the training facilities, sporting equipment, and income generation activities for the women and parents, so much so that they can be able to pay school fees for their children and manage the school. You see women here on the left. You see a chicken poultry project, micro project we did for women, which is very easy to manage. We have well-trained technicians that can train them on poultry. Maybe they start a small-scale poultry, about 20 beds or 40 or 50, which can help them have protein in the house. They can sell 1 or 2 to pay a child's school fees. And we extended this to some of the 2 prisons in Cameroon, where it was making a very, very huge impact. We went to prison women, trained them on poetry and savon making and small income generation activities in collaboration with the prison administration. It made a very huge impact, where one lady, an inmate, told me that in her life, she has never known that a prisoner can eat chicken. She used to think that chicken is reserved for the rich, especially in Africa. But she was happy that Rotary Club of Kumbu made it possible for a prisoner to eat chicken in prison, be able to sell, and then when they leave prison, they are trained to start a small micro scale project back home. Our initiative was that when you are in prison, you should go back home better than the way you came in. And it has made a lot of huge impact in our communities in Cameroon, and we are sharing it with the other district members in the 10 countries. And you see on the right, women sewing. During the COVID pandemic, most of the face masks that were very expensive in our communities were sewn by these women tailors that we trained. We could buy material and they sew the face masks very easily, that are reusable and washable for other communities that could not afford them. So I think that is what we have done so far. And you see, we also have a very large scale project we are doing with one of your clubs in the US, the Lacrosse Rotary Club, where we succeeded to refurbish 18 classrooms in our country. And it prompted the Rotary Foundation grant officer, the lady you see greeting me on the right, that is Nerissa Daso, who is in charge of our district global grants, District 9150. She came a few weeks ago and visited and audited some of our projects, and she went back to the US satisfied with the little that we are doing with our little resources. And if you look at the picture on the left, that is the governor of our state, who is also involved in our projects, because he has seen the values that we are giving to the society. He always recommends us to the government and make sure we get the necessary paperwork or the passes that we require. And he is proud to talk about Rotary at the level of the government to encourage them. Even if the government cannot support us, the government should know our existence. So, did you know also in Africa and in Cameroon, this is a picture from the North Cameroon, where Rotarians are using all their energy to administer polio vaccines. And many people in that village don't have means of transport. The only available means of transport is a donkey in the 21st century, but that cannot stop our Rotary passion to reach to these communities to make sure they also have, access to the polio vaccines and other drugs that are available and other social amenities like education and other important aspects of life to get exposure, to know that there are people in life who can support them no matter where they come from, no matter their social status, and no matter the background, that they have people they can hope for in Rotary. So in a nutshell, our club, we have about 13 members now. We were 16. Some have retired and transferred to other cities. We recently got a Rotary club that is made up of 40 youths because they have been impacted by our activities in Kumbu. And I think these young Rotarians, young Rotaractors, will be coming up powerfully when we are not there tomorrow. And we have one important aspect in our projects. We always call it the two-way. When we do a project, it has the hardware and the software. The hardware is providing the requirements or maybe the infrastructure or the equipment, the water that you just saw, and then the software that we discovered is very, very important is the training and ownership, total ownership of the project when we leave. So we make sure we invest a lot on the software, on making the community to embrace the project, to make sure they see it as their project, that we are coming just to support them, and at one point make them to contribute even with local materials, with their little energy, and even a percentage, maybe to give financial support, no matter how minimal it is. It has nothing to do with our project, but to make them involved and make sure when we leave, they continue to manage this project sustainably. And I think that method is really working, and powerfully thanking all of you. I will be ending this presentation by thanking you and presenting you this other child too who had water for his first time in his school. And I was the person who personally took the picture with the kids who were scrambling on the luxury water they saw in their life for the first time in their school. And with this proverb which says, nobody can help everybody, but everybody can help somebody, I thank you again. And I think we can collaborate in the future to continue to have more impacts in our society. And I will repeat it again, to invite you again to come to Cameroon, to come to Africa, to have fun, to see the community actions, the local projects that we are doing, and to relate to other partners in the world globally, and to continue to explore the values of Rotary. And in Africa, mostly, especially in my country, many people have that belief that Rotary is a sect. They think that Rotary is a very bad organization, but with our activities on the ground, with our ways of dealing and interacting with the people today, I am proud to say the communities are instead running behind us to come to them when they are in need of a project, when they want to do a community service. They always come to solicit for our consultancy or our assistance. And Rotary has done one of the very powerful projects in my village in Kumbu, the cardiac center where they are doing cardiac surgery in the whole of Central and West Africa, which was supported by a Rotary Club in Italy. And this has been our referral project to everybody, to all the Cameroonians and to many Africans who want to know about Rotary. So I thank you, PDG Marie. I know you have a wonderful team and experience, especially being a governor. That is where I am also looking at, hopefully in the future when I get older. And I think it is all about sharing experience and making friends worldwide. I have met a very serious and powerful Rotarians all over the globe thanks to Rotary, where I met friends in Canada, in the US. People left US to visit me when I was in Canada and most part of Europe and many African countries. So I was telling my new Rotarians that just joined our club that they have joined the Gentlemen Club and they will enjoy it with time. They will do it and they will happily maybe donate more to the Rotary Foundation. And I will end by telling you a question I asked one of our Rotarians who has been supporting our global grants. When this old mother asked me a question, I went back to her in Canada in 2018, and I just told the lady that, but I want to ask you a very funny and foolish question. This Rotarian, she's called Pat. I say, Pat, why are you guys giving us all this when you don't know us? Why us? And she just smiled and told me that, Ibrahim, when we give to people, we are happy. And when we are happy, we live longer. Thank you very much. If you learn, no matter how small it is from this presentation. And thank you, over to you.
Thank you, Ibrahim.
You're welcome.
Okay. Do